this video, I'm going to teach you 3 important IELTS listening strategies. They are question analysis, answer prediction, and keyword clues. Taking the time to learn and practice them will make answering listening questions a lot easier and undoubtedly increase your score. First, question analysis. The listening test contains 4 recordings. Before listening to each of them, you'll be given time, around 20 to 30 seconds, to read the questions they relate to. Use this time well. It might not sound very long, but it's long enough to do the important preparation work that will enable you to complete the questions successfully. When analysing the questions, there are 3 key things to note. A. Which section of the test they are in. B. What type of questions they are. And C. What sort of information you need to listen for. These will all give you valuable clues to understanding the audio recording and identifying the correct answers. There are 4 parts or sections to the IELTS listening test. Section 1 is a conversation between 2 people set in an everyday social context, for example booking tickets to the theatre. Section 2 is a monologue set in an everyday social situation, for example a welcome talk for new college students. Section 3 is a conversation between up to 4 people, set in an educational or training context. It could be a group of students discussing a university assignment. And Section 4 is another monologue, this time on an academic subject, such as a lecture on wildlife. If you memorise these, you'll know the general context of each audio before it plays, and how many people will be talking. A monologue is just one person speaking. This might not seem especially important to know, but any clues you have as to what you'll be listening for will be helpful. This information will also help you to better prepare mentally for the test, which will reduce your stress level and enable you to think more clearly and listen more effectively. The next part of this first IELTS listening strategy concerns question types. You'll be asked a variety of different types of questions selected from this list. Matching questions, multiple choice questions, note completion, form completion, table completion, sentence completion, summary completion, short answer questions, map or plan labelling, and diagram or flowchart completion. Most types could appear in any of the 4 sections of the test. You must be able to quickly identify what type of questions you're required to answer. Sometimes the introduction will tell you, or it will be obvious, such as a plan or map that requires labels. Other times you'll have to look more closely to decide. As with everything, you'll master this with practice. Knowing the type of questions will help you to predict the sort of information you need to listen out for. To predict an answer is to say what type of word you think it will be, based on the evidence you have. That evidence will be in the question clues we've just been talking about and the information in the questions. We'll look at an example in a minute, but first here are some things that you may be able to predict. The type of information required, for example a name, a date, a phone number, a percentage, a price or a place name. The type of word required, such as a noun, an adjective or a verb. Synonyms or paraphrasing that might be used, for example a half for 50%, or located in the countryside for is in a rural area. Sometimes you'll be able to predict the actual word. I cover synonyms and paraphrasing in more detail in many of my other lessons on the listening test. Here's a sample form completion question to illustrate the strategy of prediction. Here are the answer predictions we can make. 1 will be a surname. 2 will be the college name. 3 will be a postcode made up of letters and numbers. 4 and 5 will be numbers of measurement. Answers 6 and 7 will be nouns. And answer 8 will be numbers written as a price. Answers 1 and 2 will be proper nouns. So you must write them starting with a capital letter. This is another little clue that will ensure that you get your answers exactly right. To sum up prediction, it's one of the most valuable of our IELTS listening strategies because it identifies the type of information you'll need to look out for in the recording. Item number 3 in our list of listening strategies is also to do with prediction, but particularly relevant for questions containing a lot of text as opposed to diagrams, maps or plans. The technique is to identify the key words or phrases in the question. Why? Because the answers will very likely be synonyms or paraphrasing of these. I'll illustrate this strategy with a sample question about hotels, which requires you to match information. Step 1 is to underline the key words in the answers. For example, in option 1, I've underlined rural area. In option 2, I've underlined opened recently. And in answer option 3, I've underlined business functions. Step 2 is to quickly think of some possible synonyms and related words to listen out for in the audio. Here are some that immediately come to mind. I put S or R in brackets next to them to identify them. Rural area might be changed to country or countryside. For opened recently, new or refurbished could be used. And words used instead of business functions could include events, conferences or meetings. Spending 30 seconds doing this will focus your mind on some key vocabulary to listen out for. Here's an extract from the recording for this question. Some of the synonyms and related words have indeed been used. I've underlined them. Hearing them will help you to follow and understand the information in the recording and more easily identify the answers. Pause the video and read through this extract. Then select the correct match from the answer lists below. In the test you will of course be listening to the text rather than reading it, but doing this short activity will help you to understand the value of the strategy. I'm sure you had no difficulty identifying the correct match as C, the Imperial, and 3, offers facilities for business functions. But I hope this illustrates just how helpful it is to do this activity in your preparation time. And remember, the 3 strategies we've covered in this lesson will only help you if you practice them. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in another video soon. Goodbye for now.